Hey everyone, welcome to Bickering Book Reviews. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Becky.
And today we're talking about Time Bomb by Joelle, I'm going to say Charbonneau, but I make things up, so that could be wrong. And the funny thing is, we both listened to the testing. I loved it, but I still don't remember how to pronounce her name.
I listened to the testing and Dividing Eden.
Oh.
I know, epic fail for me.
I haven't gotten there.
Sorry.
And that kind of speaks to the fact, though, that, she's such I think she's an underrated author in that. The testing was phenomenal, and I feel like it, I digress, but,
right.
It totally should be up there with Divergent and Hunger Games, and I don't know why it's not.
So it circulates, and there are 3 of them. Anyway.
So we're talking about Time Bomb, and Time Bomb is essentially bombs go off in a school, and the school year hasn't started yet. It's, just before it's getting ready to start, so there aren't as many kids and teachers and such at this high school, but several different bombs are going off, and a group of 17s are stuck in the building, and because the first responders aren't really quite sure who's setting off the bombs, where the bombs are, and all of that, they are not rushing in to help these kids because they're just trying to figure out where the bombs are, and so the teens stuck on the second floor are trying to get out and not die. And
right.
That's essential. That's really essentially
and
what
I think
about.
there are 7 main characters, and you're kind of seeing it from their perspective. It's almost, this sounds horrible, but it's almost like the Breakfast Club during a shooting, because you've got the princess, the princess, and you have the half African American football player who's homosexual and he's out, and then there's the prom king who's got all the stuff. Muslim character, who actually, to me, he was the most interesting character in the book.
He was very interesting.
But my problem with this story, and I don't usually like school shooting books, but this didn't bother me. I was actually kind of surprised that didn't bother me at all, was I felt like there was no emotion.
Well, and it's not really a school shooting book,
it's
though.
Not,
there are bombs in it. It's
bombs.
not a school shooting book.
No, it's not. It's bombs.
But, it's related. It's
right.
along the same vein, but it's not a school shooting book.
But I just feel like with everything going on right now, we're seeing the level of emotion and, how this is, affecting people. And I feel like she had no emotion whatsoever in this book.
See, and there wasn't emotion, but I was okay with it because I just really like the way she writes. It was all action. It was just, because essentially it's really about them getting out. So it's the action of surviving.
And I don't know, because I liked the testing and I liked Dividing Eden, but this one, it just didn't grab me. And I kept the whole time I'm reading it, I'm like, why isn't it? Because it's not very long. Did we say we got this through NetGalley?
We did not, but we did get it through NetGalley.
And because when you download them through NetGalley, the page numbers are off. And I want to say that it was only said that it was 203
yeah, it's 200 pages.
Which I think in the real world translates to 300. But
I don't know. Like I said, I really like this author. I really will continue to push for this author. Like I said, the story did compel me. I moved through it very quickly. It wasn't hard-hitting, stellar. It wasn't knock it out of the park, kind of unique, but it did its job, I think.
See, and I just liked her fantasy and science fiction stuff so much better. I thought she has such a skill set for that, and then reading this, I was just kind of
Well, and the way it's framed, I guess I kind of waited for that to happen. It feels like a book where there's a larger government conspiracy going on, and you've got to figure out who the bad guys are. So it really kind of felt very, Little Brother.
Yeah.
It felt very Little Brother, but it's not. But it felt like that. So yeah, I don't know where I was going next, but I don't know. I did enjoy it.
Honestly, if I were the publisher, I'd probably delay it.
That was it. So she definitely uses this as a backdrop to kind of talk about social issues, even far from kind of school shootings and violence and tragedies in schools. Because she's got a character who is Muslim. She's got a character who is both black and white and lives in both worlds. So it will be interesting to kind of see how those communities react to this book and the representation within this book. But then also she very directly talks about kind of violence and tragedies in schools and shootings in schools. So I think you're right. I don't necessarily know if this is the appropriate time to bring up this book. However, it obviously talks about very relevant social issues.
See, and I feel like if it was this exact same book and you really connected with the characters and like you were really, maybe if it was in the first person instead of the third person, I don't know, but you really like got that emotion of what was happening, I think that it would be the perfect book for the perfect time. But right now, with the lack of emotion and the lack of connection with the characters, I would delay it.
See, and I still am of the belief, though, that I think that we read the arc. I think with a few tweaks and a little bit of kind of changing things around, you really could find that emotional level. I think she could do it.
I think she could do it. I've read her other books. She's a very good writer. I just think this would take a lot of rewriting.
I don't know. I think I want to see what it looks like in its final version before I totally make my judgment.
We should rate it.
So, all right. So our rating scale goes from 5 unicorns down to 2 unicorns. And if it was sucktacular, it doesn't get a horn and it is therefore a horse. Where are you at?
I'm at 2 unicorns. I found myself wanting to skim parts of it because I just didn't get into it.
See, and I'm at like a 3 or a 4. Like, I think I'm at a 4 because, like, I got into this book. I mean, and there was no emotion, but this is a book that I like. Like, this is a type of story I like to read. I like the way she writes. I was into it, so I'm going 4.
And that is where we are on Time Bomb by
Joelle Charbonneau. See you around.
Bye.